is the Bitcoin bull cycle top in already? We are going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I will be providing you guys with a beautiful trade setup on Chainlink. Alright guys, but let's start off with Bitcoin, because what we can see over here is Bitcoin sweeping the previous all-time high. What we can see over here is that last week's candle wasn't able to close above. And also this week's candle wasn't able to close above. So potentially we are creating a short-term top over here, guys. We have to look at this in a logical way. What we are looking at is simply not enough strength from the bulls currently to close candles above the previous all-time high. So what are we looking at? We are looking at a potential swing failure pattern, and that is supporting my bias that Bitcoin is going to continue ranging over here over the upcoming weeks. What I think is that we do have a beautiful potential range over here in the form of the range that it could look something like this. Because what we can see over here, if we check out the 4-hourly time frame, is that we have 3 different pivots. We have pivot number 1, which is the end of this corrective structure. Then we have pivot number 2 over here and pivot number 3 over here. And I think this is providing a beautiful potential range. And what we can see over here as well, if I smallen this range a tiny little bit, is that the mid-range is getting respected beautifully as support, right? Resistance. Then the quarterly level, resistance, resistance, resistance. Now, something to keep in mind, guys, is that if we check out the daily time frame, is that we still have this unfilled wick on the daily time frame to the downside, okay? And that is something to not underestimate. We know that these wicks, they tend to get filled at least for 50%. If we are going to map out this 50% level and we extend it to the right on the daily time frame, we can see that this 50% wick fill level is aligning with the previous support area over here, okay? So now do keep in mind that there's still a drawn liquidity to the downside. More importantly though, if we check out the EMAs on the 4-hourly time frame, we are still trading above the 200 EMA and the 200 moving average on the 4-hourly time frame. If we analyze the trend on the 4-hourly time frame, guys, the trend is still up until we open and close candles beneath this low that brought us to this most recent all-time high, okay? Because if we analyze local structure, we see a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, but then again a higher high that shifts structure over here, okay? So the trend is still to the upside until we open and close candles beneath this low that brought us to that high. And then it should tell us something. It should tell us that potentially Bitcoin could continue to range here over the next few weeks, maybe even, guys, the next few months. So what does that tell us? It tells us that when Bitcoin starts ranging over here, especially at a high price in between 59 and 73k, yes, it is quite a big range, but if Bitcoin continues to range over here over the next few weeks and the next few months, where should our focus be? Exactly, our focus should be on Ethereum and our focus should be on altcoins, because if Bitcoin finally starts ranging after such a strong impulsive move to the upside that put in a new all-time high, according to the cycles, the next cycle should be Ethereum and the next cycle should be altcoins, right? If Bitcoin starts ranging over here, Ethereum and altcoins should start to outperform Bitcoin. So our focus should not be continuously to trade Bitcoin right now. Our focus should actually be to look for trades on Ethereum, but especially look for trades on altcoins, because altcoins and Ethereum still have to catch up with this big move on Bitcoin. Now, yes, Bitcoin can provide some beautiful trades, okay? It is still possible that on a local time frame over here, on a 1-hourly time frame, if Bitcoin reaches certain POIs, you are able to find some interesting trades. If Bitcoin is going to pull back all the way towards this wick fill over here and is going to provide me with some beautiful price action triggers, yes, I will position myself into a long on Bitcoin, all right? And I think it's important to first let the Monday range develop, because yes, I can see that we swept important liquidity over here, and that sweep of liquidity led into this low time frame breakout structure to the upside, all right? But I'm not going to set any limits right now. Why? Because it's still Monday, okay? And I want to wait for Monday range to develop, and then let's say we have Monday's low over here tomorrow, and beneath that low we have the discount area, then tomorrow it might be an interesting setup to potentially look for longs inside of the discount when we sweep Monday's low over here and start tapping into the mid-range, right? Because then we are looking at a potential deviation beneath the mid-range, a reclaim in confluence with a shifted structure. If we then mitigate the discount area, mitigate those sell stops, then I might be looking for longs towards the range high again, or at least towards this quarterly level, okay? I think price is going to continue to be very choppy and slow on Bitcoin, which is why we should focus on Ethereum, but especially should focus on altcoins. And what we are looking at over here on Ethereum is a very interesting chart, because what I have mapped out is the previous bull market range, with pivot number 1 over here, pivot number 2 over here, and then pivot number 3 being the all-time high for Ethereum. Now if we look at this range, we can see that the range is getting respected very, very well. And also, where are we rejecting to the cent accuracy right now on Ethereum? Exactly at the quarterly level of resistance. Is that a coincidence? Obviously it's not. It's simple range trading. Now, if we zoom into the local price action over here, what we can see is that the mid-range was getting respected very, very well. Let me adjust this range like this. The mid-range was getting respected very, very well over here. Quarterly level is getting respected very well as well. Now, what we are seeing over here on the daily time frame, if I tighten this range a little bit more like this, if we are looking at the daily time frame, we can see that also for Ethereum, guys, you can now also trade Woo, Bitcoin, and other crypto pairs on PrimeXBT. They are now finally offering crypto futures trading alongside trading commodities, Forex, and more. Definitely one of the most trusted exchanges out there. And if you want to sign up, make sure to use our link in the description down below and you will get a 7% deposit bonus. We have this unfilled week. Now, if we map out this 50% level on Ethereum over here, if we map it out like this and we extend it to the right as well, we can see that over here, 50% week fill level got slightly front run. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I think it's a sign of the smart money and the market makers that this week still needs to get filled. Now, if you look at this 50% week fill level, we can see that it exactly to the cent accuracy aligns with that hour 4 level over here on Ethereum. And we can see that besides that hour 4 level of support, we are also going to be looking at a potential 3 tap over here. So we have a lot of confluences over here for Ethereum. I think that if we're going to see another sweep of this low into that 50% week fill level, it should provide some trading opportunities. Why? Because guys, we are looking at a potential fake break of structure. Yes, it's a valid break of structure because we open and close candles above a high that brings us to a fresh low. But you have to realize that as long as the draw liquidity is still to the downside, this might still be a fake break of structure, if you guys get what I mean. Why? Because this break of structure induces people into opening up long positions over here, right? A lot of long positions are being opened with their stop beneath this local low, targeting new yearly highs. But these people, they are not part of the smart money. They are part of the retail traders because they don't realize that the 50% week fill level is still beneath the weekend's low over here. Okay, so yes, these people, they are looking for long positions over here, but they are putting their stops exactly at the already existing liquidity pool. So they are basically adding to the liquidity pool that we already have over here, which means that we do not only have a liquidity pool over here, but like I said, we also have a potential 3 tap being developed over here on Ethereum, right? We also have that mid-range level exactly aligning almost to the dollar accuracy with that 50% week fill level. That mid-range is aligning with that huge liquidity pool. So what I think makes a lot of sense over here on Ethereum is to get one last sweep of the low over here and then look for confirmations inside of this POI to long it back up towards new yearly highs. You can also decide to simply put in some limit orders over here, stop beneath the wick, and then target new yearly highs. Now you might be wondering, Guru, putting your stop beneath the wick, isn't that a little risky? Once again, get into the mind of the retail trader. People that are accumulating shorts on this move to the downside, right? Where are those people looking to take profit on their shorts? Exactly. Every short position is looking to take profit at this wick. So if we front run that wick, right? All those people that were looking to open up shorts on this dump, on this dump, on this dump, and then maybe on this dump, they're looking to take profit on their short over here. And then they will move their stop loss to break even. So we front run this low and instead front run it reverse over here without tapping it, of course. So that was an ugly drawing. Reversing over here and then pumping it to to new yearly highs, those short positions, they still exist. And those shorts still have their stops resting above these highs over here, providing liquidity, providing fuel for this reversal back towards the upside, okay? So sometimes it's not the case that an obvious low should not be used for your stop loss. Sometimes a low is that obvious and actually the drawn liquidity is not that low, but it's this low over here because of this fake break of structure and the drawn liquidity still being over here, right? So the people that, for example, long this pullback and put their stop beneath this wick, they now see this fake break of structure. So what do? They tighten their stop loss from this low to mitigate their risk, right? So that means that there's actually not that many stop losses resting over here anymore. It's actually more of an area where people are looking to take profit on the shorts. So instead, I would like to front run the take profit targets of those short positions, look for confirmations inside of this POI, and then send it to a new yearly high. We're not only going to send it to a new yearly high, guys. If we're going to flip this quarterly level, we are also simply going to very quickly send it to a new all-time high. So if you are looking for a long position like this, in which you're looking for a sweep of the low 50% wick fill level and then target new all-time highs, you're looking at an 8.23 RR trade. Then you can, for example, use the mid-range level over here for your second entry point. Once again, your entry point, stop loss, a profit target, new all-time high, or at least the quarterly level over here. So a beautiful potential trade setup being developed on the Ethereum price. Need a little bit more of patience. We need to wait for a sweep of that local weekend low. If it gets swept, if we get confirmation inside of our POI, we can look to long it back up towards new all-time highs. Now what we are looking at over here is another very interesting high time frame chart, this time on Chainlink. We can see 3 pivots. Pivot number 1, pivot number 2 for the range lows, pivot number 3 being the range high. Guys, look at this beautiful reclaim of that range low area over here. After seeing a huge deviation beneath, smart money filling their orders over here. I've been explaining this in Saturday's YouTube video, so make sure to check out that video as well. Now, after the reclaim of the range low and after the deviation of the range low, as long as you have an untapped liquidity pool around the mid-range, an untapped liquidity pool above the range high, what should we expect? We should expect expansion from after the range low area, after the reclaim, towards the range high liquidity pool, or at least towards the mid-range. Now we haven't even tested the quarterly level of resistance, okay? But I'm expecting a test of the quarterly level, but I'm more of expecting a test of the mid-range over here. Now if we're expecting a test, that means that we can anticipate potential longs. What we can see over here as well on Chainlink is that we have some very nice and clean price action in my opinion. Because what we are looking at is a retest of that previous range high area, right? So we had this previous accumulation range over here. Now we broke out of that accumulation range, and currently we are simply retesting the previous range high as support. As long as a range high area holds as support, then we can expect, expansion towards the next range high, okay? So currently we are also looking at a beautiful range in my opinion, okay? This is a beautiful range. Now, if we anticipate this range low area to hold, then we can anticipate a potential breakout, because we have seen 1 test of the range high, 2 tests of the range high, and a 3rd test of the range high. We know that usually quite often the 4th test of the range high, then you can anticipate a potential breakout higher, okay? Which means that we can anticipate a visit of the drawn liquidity over here on the weekly time frame, and then we can anticipate a potential test of the mid-range area around $33, and that is a high RR trade. It's definitely worth the risk to start looking for longs on Chainlink. Now, to look for longs on Chainlink, we still do need a trigger, guys, because we have a local downtrend over here on the 4-hourly time frame, right? We can see we form a high, lower high, a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So in order to get a trigger for a setup, yes, we are testing the range low. That's trigger number 1. Yes, we have a drawn liquidity on the higher time frame towards the upside. It's trigger number 2. Also, if we check out the daily time frame, guys, we can see that we had this wick on the daily time frame. And if we are going to take that 50% wick fill level once again, over here, what can we see? We filled the 50% weak fill level. So the drawn liquidity to the downside has been taken out. So we are testing the range low. We've taken out the drawn liquidity to the downside, and we do still have a drawn liquidity towards the upside. So we have our triggers. The last trigger that we need in order to start looking for a long, in order to execute a long position, is that price action needs to give us some kind of confirmation as well. Now, the confirmation would be a simple shift in structure to the upside. Currently, this is the critical high to break for two reasons. First reason being that it aligns around the mid-range. So, if we open and close candles above this high, we are also going to reclaim the mid-range, which is confirmation that we are going to attack the range high, which is confirmation that we are going to potentially break out higher, all right? Now, the second reason being, this is the high that brought us to this most recent low compared to this low that brought us to that high. So this is the significant high to break, okay? So we're going to break this high, then I get my final trigger to start looking for longs. And I will be looking for longs on the pullback, targeting an attack of the range high, targeting an attack of a potential breakout, okay? Second potential scenario could be get a bit of a sweep of some sell-side liquidity that we are building up over here, that we are building up over here, and then we are building up over here. If we're going to sweep the sell-side liquidity, mitigate it, and then find confirmation over here on the 50-minute or 1 hourly time frame, that could also be a trigger for me to start looking to long it back up, because that will mean that we are looking at a second deviation beneath the range low over here, and usually after a second deviation you get very aggressive expansion towards range high. So for Ethereum we are looking at a beautiful setup, but also for Chainlink we are looking at a beautiful setup. All that we need, guys, is some more confirmation, is some more triggers. Without a trigger we can't simply execute our trades. So we know that as traders our job is to remain patient. Our job is to only look for A+ setup, and if we don't get the triggers for A+ setup, we simply wait until we do. So we have beautiful setups on Ethereum and on Chainlink, and we know that Bitcoin probably starts ranging. If you guys do enjoy today's video, make sure to smash up the like button, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have finally surpassed 2,000 subscribers. I'm eternally grateful for that, and I will catch you guys on Wednesday's video. Ciao, ciao!